The feeling of having a short fuse, that sudden irritability that makes us react disproportionately to small frustrations, has become an unwelcome companion in the daily lives of many. We notice this change in ourselves, or perhaps in those close to us, when a trivial comment triggers an outburst or a minor setback turns into an entire day of bad mood. It's not just a passing bad day, but a pattern that repeats itself, undermining relationships, harming work performance, and above all, affecting individual well-being. This emotional fragility, this heightened sensitivity to daily stress, can be a clear sign that anxiety is infiltrating our lives, often in subtle but persistent ways. What was once manageable now seems to overflow, and patience is wearing thin at an alarming rate. We are immersed in a world that, paradoxically, connects us globally and, at the same time, isolates us in our own concerns. The constant avalanche of information, the pressure for results, and economic and social uncertainty all contribute to a near-permanent state of alert. Our nervous system, designed to deal with acute and specific threats, now finds itself overwhelmed by a continuous stream of stimuli that we interpret as potential dangers. This overload, while not always conscious, manifests itself in physical and emotional symptoms, with irritability being one of the most obvious. It functions like a faulty alarm, sounding unnecessarily in response to perceived but not real threats. Understanding the origin of this hypersensitivity is the first step toward regaining control and preventing anxiety from dictating the tone of our interactions and experiences. The relevance of this topic extends to anyone who has ever caught themselves overreacting to an unexpected situation or struggling to remain calm in the face of everyday challenges. This is not an inherent personal weakness, but a response mechanism that, under certain circumstances, becomes dysregulated. It's as if a thin layer of varnish protecting our serenity has been scraped away, revealing a heightened sensitivity to everyday barbs. This exposure, this newfound vulnerability, can be disconcerting and frustrating. A short fuse is not an unchangeable personality trait, but rather a symptom of an internal imbalance, a silent cry from our body and mind begging for attention and adjustment. Our journey will explore how this connection between anxiety and irritability is established at a deeper level, unraveling the physiological and psychological mechanisms that lead us to have an increasingly short fuse. We won't seek generic solutions or superficial advice. Instead, we'll delve into the roots of this difficulty, investigating how chronic stress affects our neurotransmitters, how our thought patterns exacerbate feelings of frustration, and how the lack of adequate tools to cope with daily pressure makes us more susceptible to emotional outbursts. By understanding the complexity of this phenomenon, we can begin to chart a more conscious path to manage this irritability and regain a state of greater balance and well-being. The aim is to offer a deeper understanding and a new perspective on this common experience, opening doors to significant transformations. By interweaving observations of the relentless demands of the modern world with the delicate internal balances of our bodies, a more nuanced understanding of the fragility that afflicts us emerges. It's as if, over time, we accumulate thin layers of tension, each imperceptible in isolation, but which together create a structure more prone to buckling under pressure. Reflecting on this journey thus far, we realize that constant exposure to alert stimuli, even if perceived subliminally, has a powerful cumulative effect on our ability to maintain serenity. This subtle yet continuous activation of our danger response system prepares us for a state of readiness that, in excess, translates into impatience and disproportionate reactions. From this perspective, the irritability we feel, the short temper that surprises and frustrates us, reveals itself less as a character flaw and more as a telling symptom of a system out of whack. The complex interactions between our perceptions, our physiological responses, and the environment we're immersed in create fertile ground for this heightened sensitivity. It's like watching a plant that, deprived of adequate moisture and light, begins to wilt and show signs of stress in its leaves. The seeds of restlessness, planted by daily overload, germinate and blossom into reactions that, although seemingly spontaneous, are the fruit of a more intricate process of wear and tear and dysregulation. As we move toward the conclusion of this exploration, it becomes clear that how we interpret and deal with the small setbacks of everyday life is crucial. The gears that once turned smoothly now jam easily, and trying to force them only increases the friction. What once seemed like a passing inconvenience now intensifies, reaching all-consuming proportions. The convergence of the ideas presented invites us to view this experience not as a preordained destiny, but as an invitation to recalibration, a call to reconnect with internal resources that may have been neglected amidst the whirlwind of external demands. This shared perception points to the need to reevaluate our approaches, seeking paths that allow for a more effective cycling of accumulated tensions.